Hello everybody, Demeka here with another Raids in Review episode. Last episode we were in woods, engaged in some serious PMC fighting, and this episode, which is episode 6, finds us back on customs with an SVD, trying to finish Punisher quest where you need to get 15 PMC kills with the SVD, and this was quite an eventful raid, running into scav bosses and other things, and one that I was quite proud of by the end of it. So let's jump right in. Learn. All right, I'm gonna be a dog and I'm gonna camp the overs. Sorry guys. So he spawned near Ruaf roadblock, which is sort of like the middle of the map-ish, and now we're heading back over towards, like, to look over to Big Red. There are a few player spawns over there, and generally speaking, people cross the river quite quickly, so it's a great place to pick up PMC kills. So just gonna have a look to see if we can catch some people crossing over. How do you unlock BP? That's my next question for you. What a dumb question. So this is a great spot. It's hard for people to see you. Like I said, I'm being a bit of a dog here, but we really wanted to finish this quest. And people do, like I said, generally cross over. There are 3 points in customs where players can cross from that side of the map over to where I am. But this is one of the most common ones to be used. At least in my experience. I'm just waiting for any signs of movement. Sometimes in Tarkov you need to be patient. Strap yourselves in for a long episode. Now there would be spawns up there as well nearby, or people heading that way, so we do need to be careful that we're not getting sort of like snuck up on. Keep our eyes on up here too. We can't really see much though because we're sort of behind the bush. At least we are covered. Dorms, eh? It's so exciting. So much slower to lift it with the silencer on, I'm finding. Would that be right about the ergo? We're talking about ergo in chat, something I know nothing about really, apart from very rudimentary understanding. All right. Doesn't seem like anyone's crossing, at least in this area. People will certainly cross. Just not when we're there, unfortunately. So we're heading back to where we spawned. And like I said, we are trying to get PMC kills, so we're going to expose ourselves in parts of the map where I feel like players are, and where we are right now is generally one of those areas. I try and get to the same spot we were in before. I kind of like that. Just stopping and listening, something I'm a big enthusiast about. So that's pretty far away, that fire. That scav up. And sounds like a scav. Get up, Tigran. Use that as cover. So you can use the sounds in the game to sort of cover your footsteps a little bit when there's shooting. That guy just got shot by a scav. And I've mentioned that I'm going to leave the scav up. So sometimes you can leave scavs up as sort of like an early alarm system. I think there was a scav at the little like shack in the middle of the road over there. So if that guy starts shooting again, it would be a good indication that there is a player nearby. Hopefully he comes in. Nice little wedge here. Yeah, it's shitty, hey. Again, the game's all about patience sometimes, guys. Now, this is a great spot. We've been here a few times in these episodes. It does offer you a big sort of 270-degree view of a lot of parts of the map where people are transitioning. However, people do often look up here, so that is one of the added risks of coming up here. Bad shot. Alright. And the reason we killed that scav is because if we do stay up here, he's going to eventually aggro us, giving away our position. So it's better to get rid of him in that situation. Can I get this pineapple juice? Is it going to be worth the death? No! I kind of like the suppress sound, to be honest. I'm a huge fan of that. Where we're looking now is called Skeleton, and there's another sort of PvP-ish area. Alright, so I think there's a player behind us. We haven't really heard a lot, so I'm not too sure, apart from that there's someone sort of maybe near the bridge or that sort of area. If you are up here, it's always good to keep moving, never just staying in one spot looking down the same area. At the very least, if you're moving around, it means that if someone is watching you and trying to shoot you, it's going to be a bit harder for them to do that. Fortress. And what I'm referring to is Fortress, which is the spawn point of the Scav boss, or one of the spawn points, and also another PvP area. I wonder if those counted to Shooterborn in Heaven, those kills. Do you reckon those are 100 meters? We were also still on Shooterborn in Heaven kills for customs as well, which is getting kills over 100 meters on a variety of maps. Shit makes you weaker than days. Lol. We each have our kinks, mate. I will not kink shame you in here. Is that a fucking scav? So sometimes you do get shot in Tarkov and it feels quite accurate, so you're like, man, that must be a player, but unfortunately scavs also have cracked aim from time to time, so it can throw you a little bit. And we've heard the voice line there from the scav. I don't know how I saw him. It's not. You do you, bro, and that's a reasonable king to have. I think that was a scav. Where is everybody? Yeah, I'm wondering if those kills are 100 meters. Yeah, I reckon maybe the second one. First one might have been just under for sure, hey. You can see we're still moving around a lot. Checking quests mid-raid. Just take a few seconds to look at your areas and then keep moving. Over to Skeleton now. The next sort of like logical place to go. And it's always good to have a little like map in your head about where you want to go and then how long you want to stay there and then where you want to go next, depending on what your objective is, whether it's to get kills or to find quest items. If you're trying to decide, obviously that can change depending on what happens in the raid, but it's good to have a general idea of how you want to get through the map. Getting PMC kills. The ergo is fucked. I did not realize this. So what I'm referring to there is because we put a suppressor on this, it takes a little while for the scope to come up, which is quite frustrating. Just sort of one of those, you know, balancing acts, I guess, with a lot of guns. I mean, is it surprising I got more kills without the silencer? I don't think so. Makes total sense now. So this is about dead center of the map. I dropped the silencer last night and I got like a few. Obviously got some then without it. Yeah, true that. Good point. I probably prefer this area in the sense that there are some more walls that you can hide behind. It's still very exposed, but I think less so than where we were before. But people will look up here, so be warned. I'm just looking back towards where we thought there was a guy. Just, you know, it's always good to, like, if you do hear those things where people are sort of, you feel like someone's chasing you or they're behind you, it's always good to check those areas consistently because more often than not, you probably heard correctly. Yep, that's a really good point. Alright, someone's looted here. And that's like in a similar way of using dead scabs as sort of indicators about where people have been, looking at what's been looted and what's not been looted. It doesn't give you a huge idea of like where people are, but it does tell you that people did spawn in that area, and then you can sort of work backwards and think like where might they have gone since they looted that area. Here a scav aggroing to the right. Is blood always there? It is. I've since learnt. Some deep breaths. Well, I didn't loot everything. Bit of light looting. Stave off the boredom. You guess? What's going on here? So that could be a scav shooting. And again, like I said before, the early warning system sort of indicates that like there's got to be a player in this general vicinity. So we're going to check back. That's a scav shooting at a player. Just checking our corners. You can't check everything, but it's better than doing nothing. I'm hearing something, but I'm not hearing something. Tarkov makes you paranoid. So, unfortunately, sometimes you think you hear something and you don't. That can't be at me, right? And you can see it's taken us a while to actually spot this guy here near the tanker. And that was the third shooter born in heaven kill. So that was over 100 meters. I think the guy's probably doing the marking quest where you need to mark that tanker and some others on the map. Yes. Did you see the pop-up, guys? Shooter born in heaven done. Not the whole quest. Just the custom section. Now, at this point, I'm like, hey, this is pretty good raid. Like, at least I got that done. And Jules. Repping the NZ homies, Jules and Jordan. He must have been marking. It looked like he was marking, so I'm assuming his gear is not very good. I saw he had the like cheap helmet on, and so I'm just sort of deciding like, hey, it's probably not worth going over to loot his corpse. We'll keep focusing on getting player kills. And Zed, it's good, man. We just finished Shooter Born in Heaven on customs. Totally unprovoked, but... Or like unintentional, really. Just working towards completing Punisher 6. How are you, dude? Was that you? What was all you? Alright, I'm gonna go to Old Gas. So again, my next stop is Old Gas Station. Nothing in this raid has really thrown me off the kind of map that I had in my head yet. Yeah, I feel like if you try and do it too hard, it's just going to be fucking... And that's a good piece of advice. Like, you know, going out of your way to chase Shooter Born in Heaven kills on each map, like, it can be quite frustrating. It's one of those quests that in most circumstances and most wipes, you'll probably end up getting it done just over the course of playing the maps. That's not always true, but just going out of your way to get that one quest done can be really, like, not very satisfying. A real stitch up. Like, you're just gonna get frustrated. Oh, 100%. The NZ boys are in the house. It's funny because when a friend of mine, Morgan, comes to the stream, I generally get fucking clapped all over the shop. So, I love it when he's here, but you guys make a nice... refreshing good luck change. So the scabs have aggroed. Oh. That Reshala? And now we're sort of realizing, oh, there's not usually scavs outside there, so Reshala's probably spawned in the fortress.
Yeah. Fuck. Fuck, I got that for a quest. Do I go for it?
So he also had a quest from Jaeger to kill Reshala and get his golden TT pistol.
I got a daily and a fucking... I got a daily and the fucking Jaeger quest.
And a daily to kill Reshala.
Oh, alright.
So like scav bosses generally spawn with minions. I'm sure if you play Tarkov, you've come across them. So there's Reshala, I think, spawns with 5 guards plus himself. So that's a group of 6 people. And it's like a little bit intimidating as a solo player to sort of take that on, considering that there are definitely still players around.
Where are we, lads?
Now we're in a good spot here because we've got a long range gun, and instead of having to push straight in, we can actually just try and sort of like circumnavigate the fortress and try and pick off as many of the guards as we can, and even Reshala if we get lucky.
Press you?
And the guards will press, but they won't go very far. And I think we're probably outside of the range at which they would like rush up and try and kill us.
I'm gonna go around. Yeah, did the guys press you? And how many are there, generally? I killed 1.
It's always good to approach with caution with the scav boss and the minions. They obviously are more accurate than scavs. They've got better gear, so they can take you down a lot faster than a scav.
5.
And behind a little bit of cover here, but it's not heaps, so that was probably a good choice. Instead of just trying to like, oh, you know, sit behind the train, it's like, nope, this is not working. Let's go back, let's reset and try again. All right. Now this is a better piece of cover because our whole body is covered. And we can look underneath the train. We got another one there. You can see they pop out real quick. I think that might have been Reshala. I wasn't too sure. I can't really tell.
2, I think.
So I think with these engagements, what's important to learn is patience, particularly if you're by yourself. You need
Sorry,
to...
guys, I'm just going to met up here. I don't want to risk it.
Keep your health up.
I mean, if I could get this done, this would be huge for me. Then this scav boss I've ever killed was Sturman, I think.
I'm not a big scav boss killer. Since this raid, I've actually done quite a few, but this was one of the first times I'd encountered Reshala.
Is Reshala the one with the sunnies? Alright, that's crack house, so we need to be mindful of that.
And again, you're just collecting information as you're medding. Don't think of it as just like a little break, like always listening out, always
Does
just
the TT pistol have to be found in raid?
Always just trying to piece together what's happening on the map outside of what your objective is.
Or can I put up my butt? Back. Alright, have another crack. Hopefully they're still standing there.
Now, I haven't healed my blacked arm, which is going to make it a little bit harder to aim because it kind of like shakes and undulates a little bit. Now you can see there, this is a graphical bug in Tarkov that's actually quite handy, particularly when you're looking into dark areas, is sunglasses tend to profile like that. So even if you can't see the whole body, you can actually just see the face, which is where you really want to be aiming. Take a few shots. Why run off?
I get him.
We're not too sure if he's dead. And scav boss tend to have more health. Well, they do have more health than regular scavs.
It would have come up if I'd got him, right?
And you can check your quests to see if you actually did do it.
Let's look at operationals. Yeah, he's not dead. Fuck.
Because ideally I want to take him down from range. This is not a close range weapon. But it's looking more and more likely like I'm going to have to actually go into the fortress.
I'm going to fix my arm.
That's another thing you can do. You can spread out your medding if you're happy with just like leaving a black limb for a little while.
Apple juice too.
You can
run upstairs.
You can sort of come back and fix it later, particularly if you're not under too much pressure. And at the moment, it's quite relaxed. Like we're able to go back, reset, try again.
But someone else dogged the kill. Sounded like a grenade.
So we're back to full health.
Yeah, I gotta ask Nick. Welcome, mate. I gotta ask, bro. But I reckon I'm a keen bean. Tickets $20 or thereabouts. Well, I'm just gonna see what we're up to.
Checking the roof. It's a 2-story. There's also a basement level. We don't need to worry about the basement so much.
Where did Reshala go?
We're not having an easy time now of sort of picking them off like we did before. So approaching cautiously.
Yeet alert. Stairs left side.
Like I said, having this gun is not the best for this sort of encounter. You can definitely point fire and get lucky, but we're not well set up for where we're about to go. Checking the stairs.
Does he go up or down?
And the one thing with, at least with this scav boss that I experienced, is that they will actively evade you, whereas scavs don't seem to have that sort of AI where they do run, but they're generally easy to find, whereas scav bosses can actually be quite hard to track down, particularly once you've engaged them, particularly once you've hurt them, because they do go off, they do heal, particularly boss like Sanitar will go and, like, you know, hit 1,000 stims.
Or did he run into his little sex dungeon?
There's a little room in the fortress where he sometimes runs, or spawns even. Which is here. But to no avail. And we're not really like, we're not really after gear, so I'm going to leave looting those guys for later if I get the time. This is also a good room to loot as well. There's lots of like med spawns and stuff like that.
Like on Crack House side? Might just go back up and check. Like go upstairs.
So he runs all around the fortress. And my chat's helping me out because it's my first time sort of engaging him. Which I'm sure you can tell.
Painkiller. Like... He can't just have disappeared, right? Like... That's just not fucking cricket.
It is.
Does he go underneath to the extract?
So at on the basement level is the ZB013 extract, and I was just asking, like, does he actually go down
Sorry
there?
for all the questions. I've never like even gotten close to killing him.
And one of the difficulties when you are fighting scab bosses and trying to get them, particularly for quests where you really want to get them done, it's like you tend to focus solely on getting the boss. You kind of switch off a lot of like peripheral distractions. So it's really an exercise in training, trying to keep your wits about you in terms of players and other stuff that's happening, and also keep your focus on the boss. It's really hard to do.
Jesus. What key do you need for that extract? I suppose the power needs to be on, doesn't it? So... Fuck, it's getting towards the end of the raid. Power's not on.
And the end of the raid is an interesting one too, because player scavs start to spawn in, and even though they've got shit gear, if there's enough of them, or if they're like got decent aim, like they can definitely ruin your end of raid experience.
All right, I think he came down here.
You can see the blood trail. which is sort of like a little indication that maybe he did come down here. Where the fuck? And now I'm a little bit confused. Starting to get a little frustrated. Checking outside the building, he can definitely path out there or spawn out there. What's interesting to me is he's not aggroed onto me. He seems to be like hiding. Yeah, I've definitely got it. It's another one of his guards. That was the first one that we killed. We're just sort of circumnavigating the fortress.
The fuck, guys?
At this point, I'm thinking like,
Got to run to Crack House.
and then he voice lines, so he is outside somewhere. Can't see him though.
Distance.
It was lucky that we ran away there because that nade probably would have killed us. Again, I'm trying to play the advantage of my weapon instead of charging right up at him. I'm trying to get some distance just to see if I can pick him off. Fuck, where is he? And one strategy you can use in this situation, if we did have grenades, we would probably throw some just to try and get him to run away. Scavs and AI will often or always run away from grenades. So you can just reposition them.
Beside the digger.
That one. Chat's trying to help me. It's very much appreciated. Bunch of legends. Now, I aimed down the sight there and realized, no, this is not the strategy. Playing the cover. And he's just evading us just a fraction too much, you know? Like we're just missing the shots. Our aim's obviously terrible. Swing around to try and get him on this angle. And again, I'm going to get some distance.
I just want to get too close to him. You know what I mean?
It is boring, but it is like the way to play it depending on your loadout. And once again, he seems to have just fucking disappeared into thin air. I'm basically trying to get an easy kill, and unfortunately, it's not going to be as easy as I hope.
He moves around fast, doesn't he? God, I should have fucking got him on the stairs.
Regret. Now, bearing in mind, we shot about 5 or 6 rounds in the last magazine, reloaded, and we got 10 in this one, so we're a bit low. We heard some footsteps back out towards where we were looking. Like he's behind this. And I couldn't see him, but like if you have a general idea shooting through bushes, if it's a player, can definitely sort of, like you can hear them run away, can give you a bit of intel as to where they are. So got some shots there. And I'm realizing I have to actually reload my magazines because I've got nothing. And you can hear him medding, so scav bosses will met up, which is super frustrating. But it's a part of the challenge, I suppose. We're going to reload.
He's still alive.
And we're going to back ourselves on this. I know he's inside. Yeah! And even though we troubled ourselves, we wouldn't aim down the sight. We are lucky and we headshot him. Sorry for the screaming. I was so jacked. So that's the golden TT.
I'm out of here, guys.
He fucking did a number on our arms and general status. And now the objective immediately switches to like, get me the fuck out of this raid. Stop the bleeding.
No one's turned the power on, I don't think.
And there is an extract below,
right?
like I said. So if someone had turned the power on, this would be an easy extract. Unfortunately, that's not happened.
I need to get some ammo going here. No power now. I don't think so.
I'm panicking. I'm realizing I don't have any ammo left. Like in the mags, I need to pack it. But like also my meds look a bit low as well. All gas isn't open either, as indicated by the green smoke.
Right, just quickly load some mags up. Alright.
We're also hearing fighting too, which is not great for what we want. It's really just turned into an avoidance mission at this point. And you can see I haven't fully met it up, but I guess at this point it's worth mentioning that in Tarkov, like sometimes you need to prioritize getting out of a certain area before you...
I still want SVD kills.
Before you fix yourself up. It's really just that decision making that is so hard to do on when you're actually playing. Way easier to look back on it and go, oh, I should have done this and I should have done that. And I've switched to his weapon because it's got a full mag in it or thereabouts. It's got decent ammo as well. And
is that extract open here?
Hopefully we're not going to run into too many things, maybe a few scavs. Now this is ZB012, which can be an extract you can use. If the light is on, you can see the light's off, so we can't go down there. Well, we can go down there, but we can't leave that way.
It's a good ammo, hey?
And it's got really good ammo in it. M995's the top tier for the 5.56 caliber. Using a painkiller.
Alright.
There's fire elsewhere. There's still things happening on the map, so we're still a little bit, you know, panicked, I suppose one might say. And we're heading for the...
Sorry guys, I'm just focusing.
The furthest extract away, which is ZB011.
You don't think I'm being rude?
I tend to get into the zone after things like this. Trying to read chat and stuff like that can be a little bit difficult. And we're getting close, like we can feel it. I'm starting to feel like, oh, I might actually get out with this golden TT. Because it's one thing to kill Reshala, but it's an entirely different beast to actually get the gun and get out with it safely. Now, the door open indicates someone's already extracted through here, so we just want to be mindful of that.
100% NZ. Thank you for coming, bro.
No one's
Very
down
much
there.
appreciated, dude. I did try and jump in the other night. No way. No way.
So as you can see, I was super stoked with this raid. It's probably one of the better ones I've done in my Tarkov career, which has been quite short. I felt like my decision making was decent. I don't think I made any overly stupid decisions. We were patient in trying to get Reshala and just take our time and sort of work down the minions. I'm not sure what happened to the other minions. Maybe he doesn't spawn with all 5. And we did get pretty lucky in the end to sort of land those shots sort of, you know, halfway aiming down the scope. We probably used up most of the time in the raid, and like I said, player scavs can become a real issue. We were very lucky that no players came to Fortress while we were just sort of fucking around looking for him. So yeah, I was really proud of this one. So if you like what you saw, I would appreciate it if you liked and subscribed and commented. The purpose of this series is to just look back at some of the raids and offer some of the decision making to help new players sort of get into the vibe of Tarkov. I stream on Twitch Australian weeknights, and the vibe is very similar. It's like a beginner vibe, very casual. We don't play that well, but we do try. So until then, take it easy.